I'm going to teach you how I lost almost 10 kilograms of body fat effortlessly and easily just by using this different approach that not everyone really teaches in the fitness space. Now, this approach to fat loss does not mean that you have to go and do intense cardio every day or eat restrictive and boring and bland diets. As a matter of fact, this approach to fitness and fat loss can be easily done at home, all while you're sitting down and learning this one thing. Now, before I teach this one thing, I think it would be easier for you to understand if I told you a story, quick story. Now, remember, I was driving a car and I ended up stopping in front of a red light. And everything was good. And then the light was about to turn green. And so I prepared the engine, I pressed on the gas, and I stalled. Okay, a little bit embarrassing, so I tried again. Turned on the engine, prepared the engine, gas, stalled. And then I stalled and stalled and stalled again, over and over again. Until eventually I drove away from the green light. But I learned this one thing, that it doesn't matter what vehicle you take. It doesn't matter what you do if you haven't been optimized to do that way. So what I'm really trying to say here is that you have to change your mind, not necessarily your actions, not necessarily what you do each day for the habit. Because chances are that you are stalling also like a car. For example, you know what to do when it comes to fat loss. You're supposed to be in a calorie deficit, right? But every time you try to do so, you try it for a few days, then you end up overeating. So you end up stalling again, basically. And then you do it over and over again, and then you don't make any progress for maybe weeks. And now it feels like you aren't really cutting anymore. And so you just give up. You just give in to lifestyle. And so you retry another time, but you keep on stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling. Some people probably even make some progress, but they end up stalling once, but then they end up not going anymore because they keep on stalling. And of course, this has happened to me too at the beginning of my fitness journey as well when it came to fat loss. I underestimated the amount of calories that I used to eat, and I stalled. But the thing that kept me going was just this mindset. And that was that I am always cutting. No matter what I'm actually doing in person, I'm always cutting. Now, what I mean by that is that cutting is not just a habit. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing fat. It's actually just a state of mind. So what I'm trying to say here is that whatever thoughts that dominate your mind will determine your actions, that will in turn result in you either losing, gaining fat, or you staying the same. Now, for example, there was a friend of mine, a friend's friend of mine. We're sitting there. She suddenly started thinking about fries. And that thought started going on in her head, and she openly expressed it to us until she eventually went and bought fries at a fast food chain. Same thing can also be reversed. If you think more and more about cutting, if you think that you are in a cut right now, and you do it over and over again, eventually those thoughts will result in action. And this is how it comes that for some people, fat loss is so effortless and easy, and for some it could be a nightmare. Because the thoughts dominate their minds. Now, let's use an example of like every day. Now, let's say if you drive a car, right? You drive a car on the highway, and then you see like a semi-truck next to you, and you end up looking at it like this. Now, if you end up staring at it, we all know that if you end up staring at it and not far ahead, then you end up just getting pulled towards it. You end up steering towards it, which no one else wants to do. So why not just do the same with fat loss? You're pulling your mind towards a negative state of mind, which is that you aren't cutting. But if you just told yourself that I am cutting, and I am cutting, I am gonna cut, I am cutting, then it will be so easy to notice the things that will hinder you from being on cut. For example, that friend that tells you to eat out. Let's go buy some junk food. Trust me, just by saying that you're on a cut right now will give you the best benefit of all when it comes to cutting. You'll end up losing fat effortlessly because you simply believe that you are on a cut right now. Despite you not losing in fat for the first week, maybe you did a mistake or so. But that doesn't mean that you give up, that you aren't on a cut anymore. You're always on a cut. Because imagine, once you actually start getting the hang of it, you're actually starting to do the right things over time, it will be so effortless. And it doesn't have to feel like a chore, it just feels like a day in the life. So please, tell yourself that you are cutting right now. From now on.